Omahyanatmandasya Chinam Slaka Chakshunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskatyaya Desatana Prabhupada Ki. So I would like to speak on the importance of controlling the mind. That I would like to go over what Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in the chapter 6. All the verses he speaks about the mind. So first go quickly over it. First Krishna says, Udat Atmanatman, Atmanan Avasadyat, Yatmeva Yatmanabandhu, Yatmeva Repo Atmana. That one is to deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. Mind is a friend of the conditioned soul, and its mind its enemy as well. The mind can be your friend or your enemy. That what does it mean? Krishna explains in the next verse. Next verse, what Krishna explains. Bandhu atmatmanastasya yanatma atmanachita anatmanastu sattve sakta tatmaiva sattva. So when you have conquered the mind is your best friend. And one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So Lord Krishna tells them about the importance of controlling the mind in the next verse. Next verse he says that Chitatmana prasantasya paramatma samaita. When the mind is controlled, that Chitta Atmana, the mind controlled, then one becomes peaceful. And when one is completely peaceful, then one finds Krishna in the heart of Paramatma. Your Prabhupada writes that Krishna consciousness means following the dictations of Paramatma or Krishna within. That so if our heart is pure, we are direct contact with Krishna. But first, to come to that stage, we must make the mind our friend and avoid that it becomes our enemy. How do we make the mind our friend? We make the mind our friend when it is controlled, Krishna says. There's only one effective method to control the mind, and is to engage the mind in Krishna's service. That every moment that the mind is not engaged in Krishna's service, the mind will engage you in the material energy. That's the only way, an effective way. But of course, it starts with becoming aware that we are not the mind. Many people think, I am my thinking, feeling, willing, I'm the mind. But Krishna says that one has to control the mind. If something can control the mind, then we are not the mind. The mind is an instrument we are using. We are using the instrument. We don't let the instrument use us. That's not good. Us means the soul. Krishna says, Aparam, it says, yeah, of course, it gives in the 7th chapter. The next chapter, Bhumirapanalaprastama Buddha Shankaritya maybe so he gives this earth, air, ether, mind, ego, thought. Ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, and so on. These are my 8 separate material energies, Krishna says. So this lower energy, material energy. And in the next verse, it aparam etin manye prakati the meparam. It says, but besides this lower energy, there is the higher energy, which is the soul. So we are higher energy, spiritual energy. The material energy is lower energy because it's temporary, it changes. The higher energy is eternal. That is it a good idea that the lower energy is going to control the higher energy? No, the lower energy must always be under the control of the higher energy, the mind. When I was traveling with Prahlad Anonymous always told that story that about a man had a kind of a jinn, a kind of spirit in a bottle. But he opened the bottle, and the spirit came out and bowed down before him and said, "I'm your servant. I will do everything you ask me. But if you don't engage me for a second, I will kill you." And the man said, "Clean the kitchen." Jin was cleaning the kitchen, and then he was thinking. Afterwards, he came back and said, "Clean the bathroom." And at the end, after all doing all the rooms, he was thinking, "What am I going to say?" Then the man said, when he had finished, "Now you go outside. You see this tree there? You go to this tree. You climb up this tree till the top. You jump to the next tree. You come down. Then you go to the next tree again. You go to the top. Jump to the next tree. Come down. And like that, you do all the trees in the forest. When you have finished, start again." So that was his way to get rid of it. But what was the lesson for us? That if we don't engage the mind for a moment, the mind will kill our spiritual life. And many people live in the mind. That is in the Bible, King Rishabhadev said they are riding on the chariot of the mind, how it feels that do. Because the mind is like an inner screen. It's an inner screen. Like you go to the cinema and you see a film, and you see a film, and sometimes the personalities they have a good time, something humoristic, some humoristic thing is happening. Everyone starts to laugh in the cinema hall, but then there's a drama, an accident, and everyone on the screen start to cry, and in the hall everyone start to cry because they feel identified with the screen. But it's only a screen, it's some light going on. That's all what's going on. So we should not live in the world of this mind. That we need to control the mind, but it's easier to say than done. It's a lot of challenges here, because sometimes we lose control over the mind. That must have been 2017 or 2018. I was in Leicester, and my good friend, God brother, who left his body many years ago, 2018, just after he left his body. Kamsagati Krishna Prabhu. Kamsagati Krishna Prabhu was from Indian background. His family moved in 1974 from East Africa to the UK. At that time in Zambia, you had this dictator, Idi Amin. You remember Idi Amin? Idi Amin said, all these Indians in my country, they are ruining our economy. I give them 2 months to get out. But it was a British colony before, so they had all the British passports. They go. They arrived at Heathrow with 120,000. And that is the beginning of all these Indians who came to the UK. Now, soon there were 3 million of them. And many sat down in Harrow in London, that's not far from the manor. And some in Leicester, some in Manchester, many places in the UK there. That because they were Gujaratis. They were brought from Gujarat 100 years before by the British to East Africa to help to build the railways. And they had their own temples there. So they arrived without nothing practically in England. But then they found the Bhaktivedanta Manor and the beautiful deity worship. And they felt, oh, Krishna is still with us, is still here. And that's how they became involved in the manor. That's interesting. But his mother, with 8 children in 1974, no man anymore, no husband, came to the UK. So they had 8 children, it's a big family. And she was in the hospital going to leave her body. I came to see her first, and then 3 days later I had to come. She was going to leave her body. And I was at her feet, at the bed. I was looking at her. Just behind her was Prabhupada chanting, could hear the chanting. And there were maybe 30, 40 family members. You can imagine 8 children, all the grandchildren, grandchildren were there. And Amsagati Krishna said to all of them, when her last breath comes, this is a very sacred moment. Everyone should be quiet at that moment. Don't cry, he said. Don't cry. And when the moment I could see, I looked at her eyes and see, he moved her eyebrows to give a sign, I'm going. And her last breath came out of her mouth. And she stopped breathing. Immediately, everyone started to cry. They could not hold themselves. The mind takes over in the duality. Feeling the separation, they think that this is a disaster, and they all start to cry. But will that cry help the person who leaves the body? Or who will benefit by this crying? This is an example of the mind being an enemy. They cannot control it. Amsagati Krishna was the only devotee, he did not cry. And after she passed away, we went out. But yeah, it's so difficult. The identification with the mind is very dangerous. it's degrading oneself. That one must always use the mind. But what prevents us that the mind takes over? That Krishna explains it in Bhagavad Gita. That Kama isha, Krodha isha, Ratchakuna, Samudbhava, Masanama, Pityanamaya Varinam. He said lust is the greatest enemy. That also in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there are 3 gates to hell: lust, anger, and greed. So when the mind is filled with passion and ignorance, then it takes over. If we commit sinful activities, we do illicit sex, lust comes in our mind. You take intoxication, the mind, then you cannot control the mind. The mind controls you. That. So if you do these sinful activities, then there is no scope of controlling the mind. The mind is going to control you. Therefore, and Prabhupada says you must follow these 4 regulative principles. It's very important. That and then Krishna gives advice how to control the mind. That is further in 6:16. Nastasnatasta yogisti nashikanta manasnata nachapi swapnasilasya chachato naiva charna. There's no possibility of one becomes a yogi if one eats too much, eats too little, sleep too much, or does not sleep too much. So becoming a yogi means you can also read, there's no possibility of controlling the mind. Yeah, because becoming a yogi means controlling the mind and fixing it on Krishna. That if one eats too much or eats too little, if you eat too much, what's happening? You have to sleep too much. And when you sleep too much, the mind goes to passion and ignorance and lust something. Not good. You cannot control the mind. If you sleep too little, then the mind is not properly rested. And it's difficult to use the mind. The mind is not in order. It's not balanced. That if you are, if you sleep and you don't have deep sleep, the mind is not rested. You need deep sleep to feel rested. Yeah, that is Krishna. But we can go to deep sleep if your body is healthy. That's very important, because if the body is not healthy, you are going to eat a big meal before going to sleep. Then you are going to dream. The swapna. Prabhupada said, then dreams come, and you don't enter deep sleep, and your dream state will very disturbed sleep, and it's difficult to go in deep sleep. That I'm not saying do not eat before going to sleep. An hour before you can eat something. It's little, not heavy things, don't eat a lot of sugar. That will go wrong. You must know what to eat, but very little. That's important. And then because if you don't have this deep sleep, people who have who can't sleep at night, or how is that called? Insomnia. People who have insomnia, their mind is not in order. And you need this deep sleep. But then when you sleep too little, then also the mind is difficult to use. It's disturbed. And then Krishna says here that the other thing is, so sleeps too much or not enough. If one eats too much sleep, he explained, but if you eat too little, then you can't sleep either. So Krishna says you need balance. Prabhupada in a few lectures said a devotee should not do anything which creates which disturbs one overall balance. And this balance, that's a mode of goodness. That not too much, not too less. It says also, Yuktara Vyarasya, Yuktasya Karmasu, Yuktasvatna Babhotasya Yoga Bhavati Dukkha. One who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. If you have a balanced life, then your eating is appropriate. It's very difficult in this age to eat appropriate, but if we live simple, it's possible. It is possible that if you have always this balance, then you will probably not become quickly ill. It preserves your health, the balance. Not only the health of the body, the health of the mind. The mind is an instrument. If it's diseased, we cannot use it. People who are too disturbed in mind, they have to go to a psychiatrist and so on. They cannot practice spiritual life. It's difficult, very difficult to do that. So this balance is very important. Not always working. Also relax. Before you are going to sleep, just relax. Tell the body, we are going to sleep. Prabhupada says you read Krishna books before going to bed. You make a little walk, look at the sky outside. That the body becomes relaxed. So this is lifestyle. That don't do extreme things with the body. That is what Krishna says here. That
any bedtime prayers is sleeping before sleeping. Prabhupada
prayers are very good. Before we go to sleep, we read Krishna book, and then before going to sleep, we offer our respects to the spiritual master, to our spiritual master and Prabhupada. Pray for his mercy, and then we meditate on Krishna and go to sleep. So, but you have read Krishna book before going to sleep. In the morning you get up, and what do you remember? The last thing you did last. So that is way too. And the chance is basically you may dream of Krishna also. So that is a lifestyle, but Arjuna says to Krishna, controlling this mind, it's so difficult. So it's like controlling the wind. And there's a storm outside, and you say, go outside, and you say to the wind, stop. No, you cannot stop it. Arjuna said, I cannot do it, Krishna. Because this mind is chanchala. It is flickering, that it is stubborn, obnoxious. I cannot control it, Krishna. But what is the answer of Krishna? Krishna said, yes, you can do it. You can do it with detachment and suitable practice. Prabhupada says suitable practice. And that word suitable is very important. I've seen in some translations, I feel it's not translated properly because that word suitable is not there. But in English translation, it's suitable practice. So you have a suitable practice for every age. That's explained in the Bhagavatam. But for this age, the most suitable practice to control the mind is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. That because this is an important practice.
Chanting of the before bed meditation is nothing but chanting of Hare Krishna.
The chanting of Hare Krishna, that the chanting is Krishna himself. We must realize that. We realize that to some extent. Prabhupada says you try to chant Mr. John, Mr. John, Mr. John. After one hour, you get frustrated. But if you chant Hare Krishna mantra, you don't have that because it is filled with spiritual power. And if we chant the holy name, of course, Prabhupada said with attention. There comes the point. Attention. Attention is taken away by the mind. We chant, and the mind wants to do something else. That's yes. You chant, and then you want to do your shopping list. But that is Krishna says here in this chapter about this. Yato yatani shalati. Yato yatani shalisi. The mind, wherever the mind wanders, you have to always to bring it back. So that is what Krishna says. We chant, and what should we do when we are chanting? Prabhupada said, just hear the transcendental vibration. You don't have to imagine Krishna's form or whatever. No, it's just that hearing the vibration, that's all. Hearing attentively. Don't let your mind do something else. Don't let your mind, because the chanting, that vibration is connecting directly with the soul. But there should be no mind between. And the mind tries to become, because we have attachment and aversion. And that's a material contamination. Raga, Dvesha. In 334 in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains there are two paripantino, obstacles of the path, of the spiritual path. That's raga, dvesha, attachment and aversion. The mind becomes attached to what gives pleasure in this world, pleasure for the body, and becomes averse to what gives pain. But that is the body concept of life. So the pleasures are for the body, the pain also. But we must change that. We must become attached what's good for the soul, and detach and averse what's bad for the soul. So, and that we have to learn. therefore, nectar of instruction is very important. The second verse explains 6 things what we should avoid, because they make the mind more disturbed. Atya prayasya prajalpaniya magam jnana sanya salodhyam sa sadbir bhakti vinashati. 6 things. It's overeating, we discussed already. Atyara prayas, endeavoring for material things which are difficult to get, that a devotee wants only what's needed to live simple, not more. And Atyara prayas, prajalpa, one should not criticize others or speaking bad of others or speak about mundane things, that prajalpa. Niyamaga, one should not neglect all the rules and regulations, that or not just following without the wrong motivation, with the wrong motivation. One follows them to make spiritual advancement. So right motivation is important. Motivation means desire from the soul. You remember? Important. And one should avoid association with materialistic people. That not hear about their attachment and aversion. That then the mind become absorbed in it, in the cinema, in your mind, and you become attached. But one should do 6 things that help to control the mind. Utsaya nisaya daya tat karma pavaktana sangatyaga satuvite satya bhaktir prashidati. 6 things that are good for devotional service. 6 things that will help to control the mind. Being enthusiastic in the chanting, that have patience, because you need patience to purify this mind, that will bring it under control. If you control the mind and it becomes completely peaceful, you are liberated. It's a process. Usually 30, 40 years, but that's not for everyone, because we may have made advancement in previous life. We take birth again. That's so sometimes new bhaktas can be more advanced. It's very rare, but anyway, you can see that sometimes they are already advanced. Because, or in other words, they will make very quickly advancement and come to the point they were previous life. So it's not just the golden rule, it takes 30, 40 years. It's for me who are a fallen soul, but others may do it much quicker. So utsaya nisya daryat tatat karma pavartanat. Tatat karma pavartanat is performing all the 9 angas of devotional service, hearing about Krishna. So that's engagement. You must engage your mind in these 9 things: hearing about Krishna, that remembering Krishna, the mind speaking about Krishna, that, and then the other processes are processes related to devotional service, but are also important to control the mind. Vandana, prayers. If you pray, use the mind to pray Krishna. That, of course, Maharaj Ambarish, there's a verses in the 9th canto of the Bhagavatam. It said, Savai Mana Krishna Padaravani. He used always his mind to think of Krishna. He used his ears to hear about Krishna. He used his legs to walk to the temple and so on. But Savai Mana Krishna Padaravani, we should always use the mind to connect with Krishna. And these are the methods of devotional service. That and Satovrite means we follow in the footsteps of previous acharyas. That's very important. We should train the mind You want to do something, first with your intelligence you should verify, if I do that, is my spiritual master pleased with this? If I do that, is Srila Prabhupada pleased with it? If I do that, is Krishna pleased with it? It's all the same. That's fine. But before every action, we should think in that way. That am I acting to please Krishna? That, and if we are not sure, wait and clarify it. But don't engage. But it does not mean that we neglect the mind. The mind will make proposals, but with the intelligence, we must screen them, screen these proposals, because some proposals, some may be good and can be used in devotional service, but the proposals to break the four regulative principles, there we have to put a barrier and say no to the mind. We cannot do that. So you have to learn to screen the mind through the intelligence, through transcendental knowledge. And that will keep the mind, because sometimes, because this mind is being contaminated for so many lifetimes, and therefore Arjuna says it's too restless, the mind. It's turbulent, it's obstinate, it's very strong. I cannot control it, Krishna. So it can be very strong. Like when I refer always to Prahlad Maharaj because he gave this example that, like he said, that the mindset says to you, I want to eat sweets. And you say the mind, no. The mind says, I want to eat sweets. And you say again, no. Then the mind can become very sour and very difficult to deal with. So Prahlad said that then you say to the mind, I just give you a little, but that's it. That's it, just a little. And yeah, in that way.
So differentiate the soul there. The soul has no craving. Soul has no craving.
The soul has desires, but if the soul, the soul means consciousness. If the consciousness,
I want to eat.
If the consciousness is contaminated with material nature, passion and ignorance, passion makes one identify with the mind and with the body and so on. That when that contamination is there, then the soul says, yes, I want sense gratification. But that's due to ignorance. Because the consciousness of the soul is covered by passion and ignorance. Therefore, one of our foremost methods is that regular attendance of the Bhagavatam classes and rendering service render service to the pure devotee. That combination, all what's troublesome to the mind, will be removed. Tato just move by Kamalapsiastis, Terataranatam, Situation, Satve Prasidati. So then the mode of passion and ignorance is removed from the heart and one comes situated in goodness. In goodness, you can control the mind. Passion and ignorance, it becomes uncontrolled. But maybe one thought I can give is this yato nishalati nana shansanamastra. The mind wanders, you have to bring it back. mind wanders, you have to bring it back. Just while we chant, we have to tell the mind, you have to hear, just hear. It comes up with, yes, but there's that problem and that problem. We tell the mind later. Now with Krishna here, we have to bring it back, and it begins a whole fight within. The mind wanders, you have to bring it back, and sometimes it wanders, it's going to 3, 4 stages already, and then you have to bring it back. It becomes a whole fight. That, but what can we do about it? That what we can do about it is that it's quite a simple thing. Someone asked my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Maharaj, what does it mean chanting Hare Krishna? And he said that simple answer. Chanting Hare Krishna means saying to Krishna, I love you. Very simple thing, right? That if you put in the chanting all your affection for Krishna, all your affection, all your love, whatever you have, you put in it for Krishna, you will see that the mind becomes much easier to control than through this fight. So this is the method to control it. Put all your affection for Krishna. And it may still happen, but the fight will be less. That's my experience. Is that also your experience? Yeah. It's not an easy thing. But yes, if you put your love in it, then it becomes more easy to control the mind. Because this, if the mind is filled with devotion, it enters into transcendence. And even when the mind is impure, we can come to that stage by the chanting. But mostly we can maintain it only for a short time and it comes back. Because that is also what Prabhupada explained in Nectar of Instruction, text 8. In text 8, there, Nectar of Instruction, he explains the process in the purport, the process of chanting the holy name. This verse says that, yes, you can quote the Sanskrit, Nanama Rupa. Yeah, translation.
Lord, chanting the holy name, meditating the form and attributes, quality. And gradually, if we focus on this Nama Rupa Charita of Lord Krishna, then slowly the mind will become completely pure.
Yeah. So the essence of advice is one should chant this holy name 24 hours, this nectarian holy names. It's a 24 hours a day that that's always chanting. That, but in the purpose, Srila Prabhupada says first there's Varanadasa. You must accept the holy name. That accepting means that, yeah, I try to get my complete attention on it. And then gradually you go to Shravanadasa. You hear, and then Smaranadasa. Smaranadasa is have 5 stages. Smarana means remember. So Prabhupada explains, in the beginning, we chant the holy name. And sometimes, while chanting the holy name, we remember Krishna, sometimes not. that so in the beginning, yeah, we may not always remember Krishna, but then the periods that we forget Krishna should become shorter. The periods that we remember Krishna should become longer. That and at a certain moment, the remembering of Krishna becomes continuous. That's the moment that then we attain liberation. So we must check, are we making advancement? But then when it becomes continuous, without interruption, then it becomes deeper. Then Srila Prabhupada says in a lecture, then Krishna will start revealing in the heart to you. And he will first reveal his smiling face, his beauty, his curling hair, his smile, his sweetness. And then you will see that Krishna is in an environment, spiritual environment, spiritual world. And then you see not only Krishna, but also his associates. And then finally you enter his aprakat lila, his pastimes within the heart. So that is the process. The great acharyas, they have come to seeing Krishna's aprakat lila in the heart. It's called asakti. That asakti, that is the stage of Paramatma realization. But of course, for the devotees, it's higher because yes, Paramatma realization. That is the ultimate realization. Of course, we may still far away from that, but we can try to prolong our remembrance of Krishna and make it shorter when we forget him. There's much more to say about controlling of the mind, but I was thinking this is a summary of very essential points, and I hope that's helped.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it's quarter, it's nearly 10 to. If you have still a question, I'm happy to answer, if I can.
It's not conscious. Holy chanting also controlling the mind. I just thinking of the deity or the imagining the deity also will help control the mind. Or, only the holy name, or what are the ways?
The deity is also Krishna. So remembering the deity is also remembering Krishna, like the holy name. But we should, when we chant, we should not endeavor for that. If it comes automatically, we let it come. That's nice. But our endeavor should go in concentrating on hearing just the holy name. Very simple, just that. So if you chant, it's important you hear the holy name that you are chanting. You can chant very soft, that's fine. But you have to hear it. And that Haridas Thakur said we should chant loudly, then also others will benefit from it. But yes, especially when we do kirtan, we do that. But in japa is the cultivation of your own relationship with Krishna, personal relationship. That yeah.
So chanting loudly is good, Maharaja. Some people suggested that chanting internally, it's chanting.
The important is it is a transcendental vibration that goes to the ear. You have to hear it, not chanting in the mind. That's not approved by Prabhupada. You must chant and hear it. Then to the ear, it goes to the soul, to the heart, to the soul. You have that. It's not that you have to chant very loud, but just that you can hear it. That's important. Yeah.
Thank you for the nice thoughts. You were telling me, you were telling about how we should not eat too much.
Yeah.
Or too little.
Yeah.
And same thing applies to any type of Sanskrit.
Yeah.
Now the question is, how does the mind keeps on telling us that if this is too much or this is too little, but it's just that we have made up that frame that this is too much or this is too little, but it may not be too little
Yeah.
or too much.
Yeah.
So how do we define that? How do we draw the line that this is too much or this is too little?
Yeah. So Prabhupada said, better eat a little too less than too much. That this is something we have to learn.
How do you know?
I remember a disciple of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, and he said to Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, I don't know what's too much and too less. It's in my mind. And he said to the disciple, you keep a cup. It was a cup with a certain size, and at breakfast and at noontime, you fill it up to the top, and that's what you eat. And no, in the morning and at noontime. That I don't know, but he said that's it. What you eat, not much, no, nothing more. And he was applying that. I saw he came to Radhadesh and he was with his cup before it, and they filled up his cup and he was just eating that.
But you mix all the something, chutney,
yeah, everything in one. Anyway, but he learned to control his eating. It worked. So whatever works for you, but we should not listen to the mind. We should listen to the intelligence. Eat with intelligence, not with the mind. The mind may say it feels bad. I tell you, many they are eating a lot of sweets. You eat a lot of sweets and the mood goes up, feel good. But then the renunciation comes, then depression comes after. It's not good. The mind goes from enjoyment to depression. Avoid that. Also, eating too much sweet is a kind of breaking the regulated principles. That is very dangerous. Especially when you get older, you must stop this thing, and only eat natural sweets, fruits or something, but not sweets. That, of course, yeah. We must not go to the extreme. It's not that you cannot eat any sweets or something, but very little. But I have many sannyas like Bhakti-Rasamrita Maharaj will never eat sweets. He never eats sweets.
Never eat sweet.
Well, I was in the same room with him in the Bhaktivedanta Manor 10 years ago, and we were discussing what diet I was following, of course. And he told me I never eat sweets.
What's wrong with the
too much sugar makes the mind addicted and more difficult to control. Yeah, sure. It's like when you drink alcohol, can you control your mind? Alcohol is made of sugar, fermented. So too much sweet means like taking alcohol. It's breaking regulated principle. Very careful.
What about the sugars?
Sugar for fruit, that's okay if not too much.
What about at night?
Nighttime, in the evening, no. You can take a little grapes or something, but no sweets in the evening. That's not good. That's not. Eat sweets at breakfast or at the end of the lunch, but not in the evening. that gives problems in the night.
How do you juggle the sort of, you want to respect the Vaishnavas, like at home programs, they serve prasad. They really like to serve. You want to respect them, but you don't want to have too much.
Yeah.
So
You,
really it's
you take a
juggling.
little box with
Yeah.
you, and you fill it up, and you say, "I will take it tomorrow morning." That is good to do. That I say that also many times. I never eat that in the evening. That I tell them, yes, you cook. I take it with me. I will take it tomorrow. That yeah.
No, I think there's a chance I find waking up early in the morning, going to the program, and then getting off. It's very nice for controlling the mind. But a lot of times I'll find myself, my mouth will still be moving. The mantra will be coming, but I'll be reading or my mind will focus on something else. So I'll even be talking to someone and I'll see that my mouth is moving and I'll feel bad about that.
No, that's good.
There's something to feel bad about. Just to keep a little.
No, that is a good addiction.
Mm.
I would not worry about that. Of course, the chanting should not become ritualistic. That's not good. Inattentive chanting, we should not cultivate that because that's the mind. If you let it become inattentive, it will take advantage and become more and more inattentive. So you have to train it to be always attentive. Whatever you do, that whatever service, that the focus is there. Always be focused on what you are doing with great attention. So that the mind becomes absorbed in it. I remember my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Charumaharaj, when he would take darshan of the deities, he would not see anything else, just the deities. So his absorption was so deep in the deities.
What do you think, Maharaj, when you look at the deity? I'm just curious.
Mostly I'm praying for their mercy for this helpless soul. I pray always for mercy.
Like talking word.
I have a mercy case, yeah. That Prabhupada also said, yeah, as a devotee asked Prabhupada for what are you praying? And Prabhupada said, I'm praying that to the Lord not to let fall me down. And because I'm always praying, I'm not falling down. So yes, we pray for the mercy, not for material things, but for spiritual advancement, for protection, that we can continue our service. But of course, we can pray for many things, but yeah, we pray to be re-established in our eternal service to Krishna. And prayers are also a way, abundantly, of expressing, oh Krishna, I'm a fool, I came to this material world to forget you and to take your position. Please forgive me. Please, I want to re-establish as your servant and go back to the spiritual world. Please help me. The spiritual world is my real home. This material world is only a troublesome place. Please engage me always in your service. So that's the mount of a devotee.
Sending the same question to service. Sometimes the mind tells us that I can't do more than this. But then we hear the last time great souls, like even within our movement, like there's one as Raghunath Swami. And whatever service he was asked, he never said no. And he went on and on and on. And he would, whole night he would do kirtan and whole day he would do seva. And and then maybe I feel that maybe I'm just limiting myself by saying I can't do more than this. Or on the other hand, if I try to do more, maybe I'm going to imitate.
That way.
So, how do I understand if I can do more? And maybe I'm just limiting myself.
I will explain how Bhakti Sharma explained it. He said, yeah, this spiritual power we must develop, like a weight, when you pulls up weight, a weightlifter, that you don't start with the big thing. You build up little by little. Your spiritual power will increase. And don't think you can become like these great souls tomorrow. It's not possible. We have all our limitations, but we have to extend our limitations little by little. Don't stay in the comfort zone. The comfort zone is Maya. That's what the mind tells you. But you cannot go abruptly to the extreme. That will destroy your balance. So build it up little by little. That's okay.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, then we will stop here. Yeah. That
So meditation, Kirtan is also meditation, right? It means other spiritual practice, they're just keeping meditating on the simplicity in the heart of something.
Yeah.
The light and simply.
yeah. This Kirtan is meditation on the holy name. Just hearing the holy name, no mind between. No mind between. It's direct contact with the soul. It's different from meditation techniques where they imagine something in the mind. Papa said no mind between.
So Kirtan is one of the meditation.
That is the ultimate meditation, yeah. Because just hearing the holy name, it's meditation to hearing, not with the mind. Hearing the holy name, the transcendental vibration. That's all. It's very simple. That yeah. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Prabhupada.
And your charioteer is here.